All right, back at it. Got another beginner guitar tip, and that is that we often, when we're starting to play, we have problems with getting our chord changes fast enough. And that comes down to two main things. Oftentimes people are using less efficient chord fingerings. Some books you buy will have most of the chord fingerings great, but there will be a few bad ones. So I will have a separate video on fingerings to not use. One where I know how to put diagrams in. Haven't figured that out yet. And then the other thing is how you practice those changes. To get good at changing chords, what you really want to focus on is getting your fingers to stay in the shape of the chord before they hit the strings. And the way you do that is you take a chord, I'm going to D chord here or something, you practice putting that chord down, okay? You hold it, and then you practice lifting the fingers off and maintaining the shape of that D chord. Strum the strings open, put it back down. Open, back down. And the whole idea is to practice making sure your fingers hold the shape of that chord even when you don't have the strings under them. When you're first starting to play, your fingers aren't used to going into any shapes. And so what you have to do is you have to rely on seeing where the chords make your fingers go. You go, it's this string, this fret, this string, this fret, that's my C chord. Okay, great. Now I know where my fingers go. The goal is to have your fingers go in those shapes without the strings underneath them. And the way you practice that, like I said, is just lifting it up and maintaining the shape of the chord with your fingers even when it's not pressing down. You can practice it on your arm. I can sit there and play a whole bunch of chords on my arm. My fingers still go into those shapes. So, how to practice this? Like I said, first lifting it up, changing it. If you find you can't hold the shape, try just lifting two of the fingers. If you're doing a C chord, lift your second and third fingers and keep the shape. Then work up to lifting all three. It's pretty boring at first, but that's the way you need to train your fingers. Once you can do that with a few different chords, then you need to practice going between two chords. And when you do that, you want to maintain a steady beat. Notice my right hand just kept a steady strum. Say I'm going between a D and an A, or a D and a C. And what I'm doing, I'm strumming the chord, I'm strumming the open, and as I'm strumming the open, I'm getting my fingers in position, in the shape of the next chord I'm going to strum. So when I'm going to go to that D, my fingers are in the shape of a D before I need to strum it. So that all I need to do is put those fingers down. They're already in the shape. Give yourselves those open strums when you start. You will find there are a lot of songs that you don't even realize that people are taking chords off early so they can get their fingers in the shape. If you've ever heard that Four Non Blondes song where they... There's always like a few strums in there that are completely open, and it's just getting their chord shape ready with the left hand so that they can put it down on time. It's far more important to have that chord down on the first beat, or the beat that it's supposed to start on, than it is to have the last few eighth notes or 16th notes still strumming on the chord. You can get away with cheating a little bit and pulling a chord up a little bit early when you start. Eventually you want to get rid of those habits, but for now, practice that. Practice staying in time, keeping a steady strum with your right hand, because the sooner you can get the chords to land on time, the sooner it starts to sound like the song, even if it's slow. And the sooner your brain will notice that, and that'll be enough encouragement to make you practice that much harder. All right? So keep at it. Till next time.